The book is called In Bed with Broadcasting. He is an award-winning author and TV producer, legend in his own mind.
Oh,
well,
boy.
In my mind, too. I worked with him at KTLA. We're going to share some vivid memories of his past. How would you like to have a gun pointed at you by Phil Spector? Ken Davis has had that experience.
Can't wait to hear all about it after the break.
It says here he's one of the country's most sought-after inspirational speakers and award-winning author. He has one Ken Davis. He wrote this book called In Bed with Broadcasting. Shame on you. Did your mother let you call your book this?
She was asleep at the time I came up with the title.
So what's the reason with the title? Tell me about the title.
Okay, the industry, much like with you, has been my mistress. She was glamorous and exciting on the outside, but could be cold and cunning on the inside. So it has nothing to do with all these. This is a coincidence that all these casting couch stories came out at the same time this was published.
But people always think this is a really glamorous business, and it isn't. And I mean, I know that you've been out on the street for a long, long time covering stories like you were chasing the hillside strangler, you got a little bit of a tip, you ended up at the bar face to. Tell me about that.
All right, it's 1978, when half our viewers weren't even born yet, but I was a young man in my 20s, and the Hillside Strangler was the biggest thing happening in certainly Los Angeles and Southern California.
It killed how many women?
12. And it is a good way to describe what it was. Yeah. It turned out it was two cousins. But at the time, they had arrested one cousin. The other cousin was only a suspect. And another reporter and I, a guy named Judd Rose, who later went on to be at CNN, great guy, we found him in this horrible, trashy bar in Glendale. And we're watching him across the bar, and he doesn't know that we know that he's there. And through the blue cigarette smoke, he spots us and tries to sneak out the back door. Now, this is a man that had killed 12 people.
Right. Smart guys you are.
Oh, we're
you
brilliant.
certainly blended into that bar, right?
Oh yeah, we fit right in. A white trash bar in Glendale, California. And we weren't the sharpest sticks in the shed. And so we get in the car and we decide to follow him. Another real wise idea.
Well, I would have done the same thing with you.
Two unarmed journalists and a serial killer. And he winds us, it's midnight, through these back dark streets in Glendale, and suddenly pulls over. It's now 1 o'clock in the morning, and nobody's around but us and him. And he pulls down and stops about 50 feet in front of us, and we don't know what to do.
You're frozen.
We're frozen. You know, we either have the interview of the year, or we're going to get killed.
Right.
You know, it's just another life in the day of broadcasting. Lots of stories like that in this book. So sure enough, he finally steps out into the street, and I'm behind the wheel. Gaudy ring, these "I could kill you if I want two eyes," and he comes walking up to the driver's side of the car, which happened to be my side of the car, and he says, "Roll down the," or goes like this, to roll down the window. I could see he had no weapons.
Hillside Strangler.
Hillside Strangler.
Looking at you.
Looking at me.
With those eyes.
With those eyes. Great business. I'm not being paid enough to do this stuff. No, you know, you're a news junkie sometimes, and we were. It was my mistress.
Yes.
Okay, I would do anything for my mistress. So then he suddenly starts talking to us. Why the heck I'll clean it up for TV. Why are you guys following me? This or that. And I said, oh, I just wanted to know if you wanted to quote or comment about this whole Hillside Strangler thing, as if there was any question.
Right.
And then after that, he threatened us, and you can read about it in the book.
Yeah.
He threatened us enough that we gunned it and got the heck out of there.
I think it's your really evil personality, Ken, because Phil Spector also had a similar reaction to you. In fact, so much so. Tell me about that. You guys had become friends over because you watched the newscast. You like your anchor people.
Right.
But then you get over to his house. What happens?
All right. Well, a little background there.
Not too much, because we got limited time here.
I just need another half hour. No, it's. I ended up, Phil Spector, Channel 13 News in Los Angeles. Nobody watched it except Phil Spector, but it was his favorite newscast. and he liked our anchor person.
He produced the Beatles. He produced a lot of big
gosh.
records,
Well, I'm an old DJ, Coconino County, cut up California.
And much later, he murdered a woman.
Yeah, but other than that, okay, I'll cut right to the chase. For 6 months, every night after the news, we'd go over to Phil Spector's mansion in Beverly Hills. Well, because
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, well, no. I was weird, but no, not every night, 2 or 3 nights a week. He liked the newscast. It started out, invited us over, met Leonard Cohen, Bob Dylan, John Lennon called. This is pretty exciting stuff for a kid in his 20s. At this point, Phil was not totally crazed, as he turned out to be. A genius, I'm an old DJ, a genius record producer. I'm highly impressed by him.
Get to the point.
Okay, bottom
then you end up
line.
Face to face with this guy.
6 months. After 6 months, he starts drinking too much.
Okay.
And one night, he's had way too much to drink. And I had invited 2 friends over to a party at his house. He's convinced they're spies. He's convinced that this limo driver that came to pick us up is actually a photographer of the National Enquirer. He pulls his gun on my 2 friends, points it at them, and then swings around, and this is right in front of his home in Beverly Hills before he moved to Alhambra, points the gun straight at me, and then chapter 2 ends. And you'll have to see if I lived in that. Obviously, I did. But that's a true story. And it's then 10 years later, he did end up killing a woman. Phil and I have my ideas about what really happened there,
sure,
but it was a crazy
firsthand. Yeah,
it was a crazy experience.
It's incredible the stories that we come across.
Well, you too.
You and I worked together. We covered the Olympics. We did a lot of stuff at KTLA. I think one of the most. There we are in Utah,
yes,
covering the 2002 Olympics, and we of course award-winning coverage of that. We did really well with the Olympic coverage there for us.
I will say. Let me just say this: it's an honor to be in America's finest city with America's finest anchorman.
Oh, you're such a nice guy.
And you're buying lunch tonight or dinner, right?
No, you are.
Oh, okay. No, but seriously, this guy is great.
I've got to say your fashion has improved considerably since you were a producer. So retired life is doing you well. And let's kind of wrap this by talking about one of my heroes and one of your heroes.
Walter Cronkite.
We both worked with Walter.
Right.
And Walter was a great guy. You had a kind of like a impromptu lunch with him. How did that happen?
I will be very quick, and it's one of 19 stories in this book where I got to meet. This is the positive side of the industry being my mistress. You meet incredible people. And bottom line, I'm working for CBS Network, kind of low on the scale, but I answered the hotline one day. It was Walter Cronkite. This is Walter Cronkite. And he was out covering the space shuttle landing.
Yeah, he once called our newsroom and said, how the hell do you say his name? He couldn't say Amezcua. So we repeated it to him several times, and he got it right finally.
Amezcua.
How do you say his name? Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing on this is he was going to chop her into TV City, which you know is the CBS West Coast headquarters. Right. And he wanted our courier to give him a ride to the Beverly Hills Hotel. I decided I'm going to take.
You're going to be the courier.
I'm going to be the courier. I don't care if I'm a producer or whatever. Walter and I ended up spending a night on the town in Hollywood. We went to this place called the Formosa Cafe, where everybody from Bugsy Siegel to Bono used to hang out. Yeah, this tiny little hole in the wall. Spent the night having a few scotches. He talks about the state of journalism, which I talk about in this book. Back then, where it's gone, he talked about the importance of having a significant other in your life. Everything on the nicest guy in the world.
Here is the thing about Ken Davis. You had like 83 jobs in broadcasting. Tell me about the reason that you would come and go. What was that? There's something that happens in all of us, I think.
Right.
We're such a restless bunch in the news business, right?
I was never truly fired. I would always move. I would always move on when things didn't like. For example, I left CBS to go to PBS because I felt CBS was becoming a little too flash and trash. The days of this is after Walter Cronkite left. You go through different periods also in your personal life. Yeah. With PBS, I traveled 300 days in 1 year, and my wife became pregnant with our son, and I didn't want to be on the road around the clock, so I quit that job. So I came back to KTLA, where you and I worked.
Right.
You leave for different reasons, because if you want to lead, if you're at all interested in broadcasting, there's lots of ideas in this book about it's hard to juggle the two. One is your mistress, and the other, is your personal life. I finally, later in life, decided my personal life was more important, and this is also about how I left.
Well, I have to say it was an honor working with you. You're a true talent, terrific writer, great conceptualizer of stories, and you lived it. You lived it every single day. Now, if you want to meet the incredible Ken Davis, you can meet him Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Villa Rancho San Diego County Library. I will be there to introduce you, and then on Sunday, he's stepping up to La Jolla. He's going to Warwick's Bookstore, one of my favorite bookstores in the whole wide world, on Girard Avenue at 2 p.m. on Sunday. And if I'm lucky enough to be there, I will be there and listen to you tell more tall tales. Well, most of them are true. I will say that about this book.
At KenDavisWriter.com, if I can put in that plug.
No, you
can't. If they can't make it. And come meet Carlos tomorrow.
No, it's fantastic. Ken, what a pleasure. Great to have you here.
You're the best.
What an honor. It's good. Amazing. Amazing writer, amazing producer. All right. We're done.
You're the best.
Now we're going to really tell stories.
Okay, now we can tell the real truth.